It's hard for me to believe that Isaiah is no longer with us. He was by my side for 43 years. He was my source of strength every day, and especially in times of sadness. Everyone who knows him remembers his big personality. They always say he's like a force of nature. They remember his booming voice, his warm hugs, his love of life, his passion for knowledge. His strength is something I always remember. I heard in your pasuk, your verse, that those who are righteous, he will always stand firm. And it's amazing that somebody of such stature and greatness and righteousness can be taken down by such by virus. I find that hard to believe, but the strength was the first thing everybody remembers about Isaiah. The other thing is love. Love just flowed out of him, you could tell. He knew how to express his love for me and for our two boys. It's also said that he left us on Shabbat HaGadol, the Shabbat before Pesach. He always told me that was his favorite Shabbat. It was a Shabbat where the Israelites took great risks to declare their freedom and their intention to be free from Egypt from Pharaoh. And it's a very symbolic act of freedom, and he always loved that Shabbat, and it's sad that that's the Shabbat where whenever someone needed to know something about something Jewish, they would ask him. He was like a resident rabbi, cantor, scholar, and sometimes we joke that he was really like Isaiah the prophet. So, because I know those things were very important to him, I want to just say two things from Isaiah, two verses from Isaiah, and one of them has, from Isaiah 26, sounds almost like he's talking about this awful thing that took Isaiah from us. Isaiah 26 says, "Come, my people, enter your chambers and shut your doors behind you. Hide yourself for a little while until the fury has passed by." And so that these are the times we're in. And then I still don't believe that Isaiah is not going to be with me when I get home, but I thank all the people I love came to be with us today at a distance. Thank you for coming.
The cruelty of the circumstances has to be addressed. This is wrong. People dying alone and family members grieving from a distance. Can't even give my mom a hug. It's wrong. This whole purpose of our traditions is to comfort the people who have lost loved ones, and all of that's been shattered. And it is traumatic. And we will address it. We'll get through it together with our love that my Abba showed us. But it's also our family that has a history of surviving. And we learned a lot from that history. That my Abba cared so much about teaching the lesson of overcoming adversity and overcoming the trauma. And that's why we're not going to let it stop us from honoring him today.
Anything that we wanted, and that we could be president one day or start our own company. And he was just very encouraging and optimistic, and he always helped Adam and I to achieve every success that we ever wanted, whether in our personal lives or careers, because he was just such an inspiration. And just going back to that last Shabbat in February that we were celebrating with Abba, I remember walking back that morning from synagogue, and I saw a very strange, just beautiful thing that happened. It was I was walking home from synagogue, and I saw a white dove fly across the street in the direction that I was walking, and it landed on a statue that it happened to be a statue of the Mother Mary that someone had just recently purchased flowers and put into the hands of the statue. And so there were these white flowers being held by the statue, and there was this beautiful dove standing on the top of the head of the statue, and the sun was glaring just on the white flowers and the white dove or the white bird, and it just seemed very unusual and strange, and it was just a really beautiful sight to see, and a strange thing to see in the middle of the city on a Saturday. And when I remember telling the story to Sarah and to my brother Adam and Zachary Kuperstein that following Shabbat, and just saying I didn't understand what it meant. It was a very strange thing, but I felt like it was a sign of something with this white dove and the statue and the flowers. It wasn't even, the Christians do their Sabbath on Sunday. It didn't make any sense. Why would there be fresh flowers on a Saturday in the hands of a statue? It just didn't make any sense. And I think Adam and Zachary were looking at me like I was crazy. Like, why am I telling this story? But now I really truly believe that the sign was a confirmation of some kind that Abba truly passed on in peace and without pain. And Sarah and I also deeply believe that by celebrating that last Shabbat with all of his grandchildren, that somehow something very special happened that last night, and that he achieved what he had really come here on earth to complete, which was ensuring that his children and grandchildren would continue the traditions that he worked so hard all of his life to protect and to preserve. It just, and while we can never really truly understand, I think, the ways of God, and we always, we know that Abba was someone that constantly inspired others around us to live our best lives, and to he brought everyone a feeling of optimism and hope for a greater future. And so, while we don't understand why he was taken relatively so young, and we don't understand what's happening with this battle of good and evil with the coronavirus and everything else that's happening in the world today, we really feel that Abba is with God, and that he's helping God now. He's on God's team and helping to fight this fight against this terrible virus, and we know that he's in a much better place now. So thank you,
Daniel, and everyone. Thank you for sharing that beautiful recollection of your dear father. I think you've touched everyone's heart. Daniel, you shared that story with me, the one about the dove, and it made me think of something. It brought something to my mind. Interestingly, it was a lyric from the Beatles song. Do you know which song I'm thinking of?
I was hearing the song "Let It Be" in my head.
It goes, when I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking certain words of wisdom, let it be. So I don't know if we should be talking about Christian saints at a Jewish Shiva, but nevertheless, that's what I thought of when you shared that beautiful story. Thank you for sharing it with everyone.
Thank you, Dave.
Call on Yaakov Friedman right now. He is my first cousin, one of my few surviving first cousins. He speaks Hebrew and Hungarian, not much English. Yeno, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeno. He has a message. His son, Avner, agreed to translate, or perhaps Ilana.
Okay.
Go ahead, Yaakov. Go ahead, Yeno, please.
Yes.
דבר ראשון, אני מדבר בעברית. אני רוצה להשתתף בצערכם, אלנה, והכאב גדול מאוד, מאוד מאוד גדול, אבל אין מה לעשות. אני רק מאחל לך שיהיה לך כוח להחזיק ממד ולהמשיך הלאה. הזיכרון שלי עם שי היה שהגעתם לארץ, והיה האירוע הגדול הזה של ביקור סאדאת. ואתם הייתם אצלנו בבית והסתכלנו בטלוויזיה מתי שהוא הגיע על השדה תעופה, והיה התרגשות ממש מאוד מאוד גדול. ואז עוד לא הייתם נשואים, אבל ראיתי זוג יפה מאוד שמתאימים אחד לשני. שמחתי מאוד שהבת של בנדות שלי, זיכרונו לברכה, שגם הוא הלך לא מזמן, יש לו, לבת התחתנת עם בחור טוב. כאב נורא גדול.
סבד אילנה פורדית.
Okay.
Go ahead, Ilana.
I was going to say, Peter, maybe I don't know if it's technologically possible, but could you unmute me so I can respond to say hi?
You are unmuted.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I didn't know for other people too. Yeah.
Also, Avner is unmuted. So if anyone cares to translate what Diana just said, and summarize it, that would be nice.
Yeah, he said condolences and wished me strength, but he says that the most important memory, and we also do because we have a picture from that day, so he was very accurate in describing it. We were visiting at his house in Israel. It was maybe a year after we were married or something, and it was the day Sadat came to Israel to make the peace, and everybody was glued to television, and all of us were sitting in his living room And Isaiah had the big hippie hair still, you know, and we were probably just married, and we in Israel for one of his study grants, we traveled the first year of marriage for a year. So that was our time in the Hebrew University study part, and we came to visit relatives. So there was peace coming, and the whole country, I mean, the country was amazed, and we were with relatives. This cousin grew up, his parents were tragically killed by the Nazis, and my grandmother took him and his sister, and they grew up after the war for the few years with my father. So he's more like a brother to him, he was. So very, well, you know, he would be your first cousin, right?
Yeah, that is my first cousin. That's right.
Yeah, so that it's very, very
And I are the
close family.
the two remaining cousins from originally there were 11 of us. And
Yeah.
I don't know when your video stopped. Your microphone is unmuted.
Okay, thank you.
I
Yana,
think,
thank you.
if you care to wave at the camera, anyone that wishes to say something, yes. This is Ellie Isaac.
Yes. Hi.
Hello, this is Ilana's brother and Ilana's
Hi.
Your
brother.
video stopped. Unbelievable.
Go ahead.
Hi, Peter, and all the family. I'm Eli Ilana's brother, and first of all, thank you, Peter.
You could talk, but you can't see.
I'm happy that you managed to arrange for all the family to be together, and I just want to say a few things about Shai, the wonderful. Remember all the great things. I was in Florida around a month and a half ago, and it was in Ilana's car, and the radio station was on an evening.
When you want to talk, then
Your microphone is unmuted. Where is the microphone?
Let's see.
unmuted is good. They can hear you if you tap the middle.
I can hear.
You can hear? Okay.
I
Yes,
can
go
hear.
ahead. Somebody turned their microphone on. I turned them off. Go ahead, Ellie.
Okay, thank you. And I was, the radio station was on in the evening, and people called in relating to different relationships that they had, and then they would play a song after the people described the different relationships. And someone called in and they said, oh, I met someone like 45, 50 years ago, and we've been together ever since. And we have like 3, 4 children and quite a few grandchildren. And we're still together all these years, close to 50 years. And we're still in love with each other just the way we were back when we first met. And I just like to share a nice story. Recently, I'm happy Adam is also on, and Dan. We were in Adam's house like 5 weeks ago, and with Ilana and Shai and Michal. And Shai was getting ready to go visit his friend in the city that he hasn't seen in 20 years. He was going to leave the apartment. And before he left, Ilana said, be careful. And then Shai came back, gave her a kiss, and they were holding hands together. And Michal said, oh, that's so sweet. And I've known Shai from the beginning when he first met Ilana for 45, 50 years. And that's exactly, I was thinking, who do I know that's been so together for all those years and so loving and so caring for each other. So that's what I always think of Shai, that how great he was and how he's together with Ilana all the time. Also, Adam mentioned something in the funeral relating to the Yiddish words that Shai used to like to say all the time, with shlufi and shluf. And then I was thinking about one thing that he loved so much, and I'm happy Dan and Adam are on with the grandkids, is that he loved the family so much, everybody. And one of the things I think that he can be very proud of is the word in Yiddish is naches. And I'll just give quickly short story about Adam and Dan and the rest of the family. I worked in my job for many years, and we had a branch in Florida and Aventura, and I spoke to different people, because I could say a lot of great things about Dan and Adam, but it's always great when you hear it from other people, because, and that Shai would be so proud. So I work with people in the bank that I work, and I got in contact in Aventura with them, and after being in touch with them for a few years, discussing some questions, Adam was doing the news in Florida, the sports news, and he was an anchor on the main news for 2, 3 years. And I just mentioned to them that Adam is my nephew, and all of a sudden the whole demeanor changed the way they related to me, even though they're always nice to me. They told everybody in the office, and I've been told all the 30 people, like, you're not going to believe it. Oh, Adam, that I know Adam. Everything changed because they were so proud, because not because Adam did the sports or Adam does the anchor for the news, but just the way that he acted and the way that he treated people all the time. And it makes a big difference. Same thing with Dan. He went to college in Hofstra in New York, and we've known him for over 15, 17 years. And every time we had an opportunity, he always, in any kind of interaction with friends, on the job anyway, always treated everyone in a respectful way, and always cared about other people a lot, just like Shai did. And I think that I also got to, working with him in the last 8-10 years in the company that Dan worked for, if you would ask anyone, even though I didn't work with them directly, they were a client of our bank, how Dan interacted with all the people in the office and how they went, he would say that they're very proud of the way he acted. And also I want to just mention that Shai is always very proud of Michal and Sarah, and he really loved all the grandkids. And if any, I've got a chance to meet all the grandkids quite a few times. And if you met those grandkids, how fun and how wonderful they are, and Shai was so proud of them, you could see that they're going to pretty much be nice for another 50 years, whoever they're going to be connected with and whoever they're going to be with. So about the word nachas, that we miss Shai so much, it's very important to realize that how much he loved his children, Alana, and the way he was as a person. And that's something that you always be able to think about, how wonderful he was.
Ellie, thank you for sharing all of those beautiful, beautiful memories of your beloved brother-in-law. That was very touching. I am now scanning I have 3 screens. We have 54 participants and devices. Wave at the camera if you'd like for me to call on you. M. Silver is who I'm calling on. Could you identify who you are, where you are? And
sure. This is Mark Silver and my wife, Marcia Dale.
Hi.
We're in Chevy Chase, Maryland. Alana,
Hi, Mark.
I hang with the Kupersteins
I
when they lived in
know.
Olney all the time. Isaiah found joy everywhere he went. I just had this weird random memory that once we were in Cape May in a general store, and Isaiah was so happy that he found a nice selection of extra large shirts. He was like, whoa, this is the best. I also wanted to share from a colleague I had mentioned to our correspondent. I work for NPR now, Israel correspondent, Daniel Estrin. I shared with him the loss of my dear friend Isaiah, and I told him he had done Daniel's story, and this correspondent said, I remember Daniel's story from when I was a teenager. It was very powerful. So it's just like the woman said earlier, so many millions have been touched by his work, and we'll just miss him forever.
Sure.
Thank you, Mark, Marsha.
Thank you for sharing that beautiful memory. I am looking for hands. I see one waving here. Sarah, let me unmute you. Okay. Hello, Sarah.
Thank you. I'm going to make it very brief. Isaiah and I and Bobby have knew each other since he was a student at Hopkins. We marched on Washington for Soviet Jewry. We marched on Washington against the Vietnam War, and we knew him very, very well. And actually, Isaiah and I worked on Daniel's story and the curriculum for the U.S. Holocaust Museum. So we've had a lot in common. And once Alana came in the picture, we were all very good friends and remained very good friends for, I hate to say it, more than 45 years. So, or 50 years, right? So, yeah. So we just saw each other. All of us were out to dinner in New Jersey at that last weekend, I think in February. And we will miss him dearly, from the Yiddish we spoke, from all the memories that we have together. He was actually participated with Bobby in a new underground newspaper in the 70s that was called Doreinu, working hard for to get Ethiopian Jewry out. And we just really, he was an activist. He was a mensch. He was a great guy, and we love him and love you, Alana. And of course, our kids and your kids were together and played together when you lived in Olney. We will miss everybody.
Thank you so Sarah, Bobby.
Thank you, Sarah. I'd
Thank
like
you for mentioning
one
thing.
Judy, can you hear me?
Just quickly.
Adam, go ahead. I want to hear what you have to say.
I'm sorry. Adam, go ahead.
Yeah, I didn't know anything about this underground newspaper. I know a lot of stories from my dad's past. I'd like to hear more about that at a later time. I just don't want to forget it.
Did you know about the Wojciks,
okay.
Adam? Did you hear about the Wojciks?
Of course, I know all about the Wojciks.
Okay.
How could I not know the Wojciks? But I didn't know about the underground newspaper. My dad, I'll say more later, but just on this note, I like to think of him as like, if anybody's familiar with Married with Children, he was like Al Bundy with actual accomplishments. He loved to, like Al Bundy used to tell stories about his football days, but he wasn't actually a great football player. But he kept reliving memories to make himself feel better. My father had the actual accomplishments and loved to relive them and remind us of all the things he did, like Izzy the K, the kosher DJ. And at the time we teased him a lot for it, but now I can't get enough. So please, that's what I want to hear. The underground newspaper, marching for Soviet Jewry. I want to hear about all of it. Wojciks, bring it on.
Okay. Thank you, Adam. That was great. Judy, you had something to share?
Peter did. I will.
It's Judy's computer. I'm just the husband.
Identify yourself and where you are.
From Pittsburgh, but we know the Kupersteins from day one. Adam and Mark were babies together. Daniel and Jamie, our kids grew up together. But the one, and I don't want to give a long-winded talk, but the one anecdote, I could say a lot of things about Isaiah because of his spirit and his intellect and his positive nature, which is infectious. But we had Alana and Isaiah as guests at our place in Cabo St. Lucas years ago. And he was on the computer, he was working remotely. And even though I do major eye surgery, I am a dinosaur when it comes to computers. I don't even know if I had a cell phone then. So here we are with Zoom, the brave new world. I just had my first video conference with the university teaching rounds on Zoom. This is my second one in my life. And I still remember Isaiah then. How many years ago was that, Alana? 10, 12, whatever?
Maybe 8.
He's taking pictures of everything, literally. And now I know why Adam became a newscaster, because that gene was transmitted and he's taken it to the nth degree. You guys are unbelievable. We love you. We certainly miss Isaiah. I've got to go to the office. I just want to get in a few words in, but stay safe, everybody, okay? And take care of each other, and let's keep in touch. We love you. We'll all get over this. It's a new world. We miss him, but I'd love to see pictures of the grandchildren one of these days. But right now, at this point, just wanted to wish you our love, Alana and Adam and Daniel. I look at Daniel and he's a mini Isaiah. My goodness, I mean, how things have, and you guys are great. We love you, and keep in touch. What can I say?
Thank you, Peter. Thank you.
Get to your patients. Right now, I'd like to call on a family member, Erica Varsescu. Erica, can you hear me?
Yes.
We can hear you.
Yes.
Please go ahead.
7 years ago, I visited the United States, and I stopped.
Sorry to interrupt you, Erica. Tell us where you are.
Israel, Kiryat Bialik. So 7 years ago, I visited the United States, a big trip, and I stopped in Indianapolis to visit my dear and beautiful cousin and Shai. And I remember a lot of things, but I remember Shai, he prepared the best bacon and eggs breakfast I ate on all my trips. I just sit there and I looked at him and I thought he was so gentleman. He has something noblesse, אצילות. איך הוא הכין את הארוחה? אני עברתי לעברית פתאום. So it was amazing. it was the best days on all my trip there.
Thank you.
I love you.
Thank you. He showed his love through food.
All right, I'm scanning all your faces. Just wave at the camera. Emil, also from Israel. We're going to unmute you. Shalom, Emil. Tell us your name and where you are.
Hi, I'm talking from Haifa. We could share with Ilana views of Israel, Haifa, your hometown, from early days. I'm so sorry we cannot hug you at your house, sharing our sad feelings about what happened. It is not so nice situation that you are all alone at home and we are here on the screen only in such sad moments. So I would like to share only one moment. I traveled to Ilana and Shai wedding as a representative of the family in Israel. Those days, it was not so easy to travel. So I went over a ship for 2 weeks. Uncle Aryeh helped me to take a vessel, Mount Sinai. Eli and Ilana used to do the same journey with their father, Aryeh. And I reached the United States. I met Ilana and Shai. I participated in the wedding. Great experience. And I have one nice memory. I went with Shai and Ilana, Sarah, and I think we went to synagogue, and Shai was the chazan, sharing, singing. I cannot forget it. After so many years, he had this talent also to be a chazan. And so I will let others to share more memories. And Ilana, keep safe and health. Your brother, your son, Adam, are in New York. And we were worried that now New York became such a danger for this virus. So all keep safe and watch yourself. We do it in Israel the same way.
Thank you, Emil. Means a lot. Thank you.
That was beautiful. Thank you so much. All right, I see another person waving here. Isn't this okay?
Bobby, Sarah's husband.
Yeah, Bobby. Go ahead, Bobby.
Yeah, okay. Izzy was a beautiful friend and a beautiful person. There's so many things we could bring up, different things, interesting things. I just want to mention one thing that was very interesting. A couple of days ago on TV, they showed this modern technology of a simulated Holocaust survivor. And actually, my wife and I, Sarah and I, and Izzy and Ilana went to the Jewish Museum of Jewish Heritage about 6 or 8 months ago. We went there, and it was just, it was very interesting. And we always went to interesting places with them. And this I don't know how you explain it, but this the
virtual reality.
Virtual reality, yeah. Virtual reality that we saw there was amazing, and it was just one of the very exciting things that we all did together. We love you, Izzy, and we miss you.
Thank you, Bobby.
Thank you so much. I'd like to call on another family member from Israel. This is my second cousin, Yossi Polak. Can you hear me, Yossi?
Yes.
Good to see you.
Hi, Yossi.
Hi.
Go ahead. It's all yours.
In a few hours, we're going to start the Leil Seder here in Israel. And when you start the Leil Seder, you start to read on the Haggadah, והגדת לבנך. You say to your son, and now it's opposite. Your son is telling about you. And I hear what they say about their father. We have to admire Shai for what he's traditional that he left to his son. Now, I just trying to remember 2 years ago when I met Shai and Ilana here in Tel Aviv, and Adam also. We went to dinner at the Dizengoff Center, and then we met at Zichron Yaakov, if you remember.
Yes.
It was
Romanian night.
Romanian night.
Festival, yeah.
And it was very nice. And what we still have we left, now we are the second generation of the Holocaust survivor. And we're talking about the Holocaust. I think that we have one tradition that we left to our children and to our nephew already, that they will not forget the Holocaust and the tradition that our parents left to us to keep and to remember. And the leader of the vision of to keep the memories of the Holocaust was your husband, Shai. And
Thank you.
That's what I admire him. And God bless him.
Thank you, Yossi. You know, you bring something to mind that I'd like to share with everyone. As you mentioned, tonight is the first night of Passover here. And traditionally, during the Magid portion of the Seder, we dip our fingers into the wine cup 10 times in commemoration of each of the 10 plagues. Well, this year is different. This year we have an 11th plague that we are all enduring and living under. And so I've suggested to many of my Jewish friends and to rabbis, etc., that perhaps this year would be appropriate to remove an 11th drop of wine. And we're going to do that at our Seder tonight, our Zoom Seder. And we're going to go, not after we do the last one, we're going to add one more for all of the people who succumbed and who suffered during this current plague. You know, we always set out a tradition is to set out a cup for a prophet. The prophet is Elijah. Tonight, we'll be putting that cup out for Elijah, but we'll be thinking about a different prophet, one named Isaiah. And so it's, I think, appropriate that we use this occasion to remember not just Shai, but the other people that we've lost and who are suffering during this terrible, terrible time. So I just wanted to share that idea. Perhaps you might incorporate it into your own seders. All right, we're going to do this for a little while longer. Then I'm going to call upon Rabbi Sandro, who is the rabbi and good friend of the Kupersteins, to close up with a prayer, and then we're going to show a brief video excerpt from the Graveside ceremony. Before that, I'd like to call on Zach Kuperstein, who would like to say a few words. Zach, go ahead, please. You're on.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Zach Kuperstein. Isaiah is my uncle, and I have just, I mean, my heart goes out to Daniel and Adam, who I've grown a lot closer to over the last couple of years, and to Ilana as well, who I met for the first time, and I met Isaiah for the first time only a few years ago. As some of you might know, his brother, my father, Michael, passed away only a couple of years ago. So my heart also goes out to my grandmother, and also Daniel and Adam's grandmother, who lost 2 sons in just a couple of years. And I just can't imagine that horrible pain. But I did want to share a positive story about Isaiah as recently. Just last year, I was working on a film, and it's a Hasidic Jewish horror film. Takes place in the Hasidic community in Brooklyn, and we had a Holocaust flashback scene in the film. So I asked Isaiah for some advice on some of the props to ensure their authenticity, and he actually got to speak with our director, Keith, to make sure that the gun was the right gun and the uniform was the right uniform, and everything looked right. And for that, he got a special thanks in the film, which was set to be released in theaters, any day now. I believe it was going to be this month. Obviously, that's been delayed. But I hope to share that film and continue his legacy in that way, and how he's been able to advise on the history afterwards. So
thank you, Zach. Can I say
I
something?
hope that Isaiah gets some screen credit for his contribution. That would be nice. I'm looking for waving hands. Gee, my screen just went. Internet connection is unstable. Oh my goodness. That's not good. So listen, I've got an unstable internet connection. I hope you can hear me. But if things go dark, you'll understand, and I apologize. I don't know what's going on. We've been having some power issues here at our home, and I hope that says we don't lose power, in which case I'll lose the Wi-Fi connection. You're starting to come back now. I'm not sure if you can hear me. Everyone's image is frozen on my screen. No one is moving. It looks like we're searching for bandwidth. At this point, we're running into a technical glitch. If somebody would say something, and I know you're there. Daniel, I saw your text. You're saying you can hear me now. Good. Can you see me moving? Am I moving on your screen? You're not. You're frozen, Daniel. Erica is moving. I can see. Okay, people are starting to move. I guess things are recovering. I think the problem is on my end. I apologize for that. People are starting to move. Thank you. I see the thumbs up. Okay. Let me get things set up again. Manage participants. Give me just a moment, please. All right, Ilana, your microphone is on. Can you hear me, Ilana?
Yes, I do want to say something in response to Zach when everything is settled technologically.
All right, it looks like I'm back online. I apologize for the glitch, but everything looks back to normal now. Thank you. Go ahead, Ilana had something to say. Go ahead, Ilana.
We can do this, so one glitch is not bad, Peter. It means a lot to me. Zach, I wanted to say that after I want to let you know something, and then I'll ask you to tell people the name of the movie. That'll be interesting. But just a few days ago, I noticed that on our coffee table in our family room, there's a book that says The Weapons of World War II or something. And I think that's what he consulted with, and looked at all kinds of things to help you with the props. And I remember him talking about that. So he always, so many books, so much knowledge, people always came to him for very obscure questions. So that's a good story about Isaiah. Thank you. And tell people the movie, the name of the movie.
Yeah, no, I forgot to mention the title. It's called The Vigil. So that will be hopefully available to see soon once all this clears up. I just also wanted to add that it's been incredibly powerful to realize that I have relatives in Israel, and to see all of your faces for the first time. To those of you who are first cousins of Isaiah, that would mean we're first cousins once removed. So it's nice to meet you.
Thank you, Zach, and thank you for mentioning The Vigil. We'll all be on the lookout for it at some point. I wanted to underscore what Ilana just said. As a resource, one of my first contacts with Shai was back in the early 1980s when I was asked to put together a dramatic presentation of the life of a Holocaust hero by the name of Raoul Wallenberg. And in those days, of course, research was a much more complex and arduous undertaking because, of course, there was no Google or internet to refer to. So my source in doing the historical background work and research, I came to rely greatly upon Isaiah Kuperstein. He was my Google at that time, and I actually dedicated the play to him. The dedication in the publication of later published as a book, and it's dedicated to him for all of his assistance, helping me, pointing me to organizations like YIVO and organizations like that enabled me to do research about this Holocaust hero who was directly responsible for saving the life of my mother. Had he not acted, my mother would have perished in Budapest in 1945, and I would not be here. So I owe the Raoul Wallenberg a great debt, and a great debt likewise to Isaiah for that. So I can underscore that. All right, I'm once again trolling for hand waving. If anyone wishes to say a few words, and then if not, I'm going to call upon Rabbi Sandro to lead us in a prayer. And again, my internet connection is going out. I guess it's overloaded. Why don't we do this? Rabbi, if you can hear me.
I'd like to say a few.
Okay, who was that? Right here? Okay.
Peter.
Michal?
Adam. Michal.
Michal. Go ahead, Michal.
Yeah. Peter.
Unmute?
No, we're unmuted. Just real quick, one comment on the film note, because I'm not sure Zach knows this and my details are foggy, but my mom can probably help. Didn't Abba once advise or at least serve as a consultant for a David Mamet project in the 90s?
Yeah.
Does that sound right?
Yes.
Late 90s? Yeah.
Yes.
So he had a history of this, and Zach, I love that he carries it on with you, with family. And Peter, one comment to what you said is, he was like a Google, but really he was Jewish Google. And we should all use it. He's Jewish Google.
That's correct. Yeah, Jugal. Call him Jugal. All right, I see a waving.
Jugal. Exactly.
I see a waving hand.
Wait, but hold on. Michal wants to say something.
Oh,
I'm not a public
please.
I'm not a public speaker like my husband, but I just wanted to say a couple of things about my father-in-law. He was so warm and so affectionate and so respectful of all of us. And I was remembering that the day we had Rafi, our third baby, we called him up and I said, you guys have to come. You have to be here. And he said, no, we're not coming to stay in your house. The day you had a baby, it's too much for you. And I said, no, you need to be here. You and Ilana have to be here. And that same day, he went and he booked the ticket and they arrived the next day. And having them in our house with our girls was everything. They'd wake up in the morning and our girls would be running around in their PJs and he'd make them their M&M pancakes and read books in his crazy voices. And those memories, they will remember that forever. Their Zadie will always, always be with them because of that, because that they spent that special time with them. And he was just so wonderful with me and so warm. And he called me the general because he knew I was very strict with the way I ran my house, but everything he said it was with so much respect and so much love, and it just meant everything.
And one of the last things I think everyone would like to know, he loved Michal. He called her the general in his endearing term. If my mom or if I and Dan had told him to do something, he would just ignore us, right? My mom knows that cleaning up his crumbs, forget about it. He made us do all that. But if he was around Michal, for some reason, he would respect her enough to clean up after himself. And that's how much he loved her.
Thank you, both of you. I'd like to call upon my wife, Alla. Alla, your microphone is on. I see you've moved in the kitchen. Are you making haroset for the Seder?
Yeah, that's right. Thank you, everyone. Ilana, as we preparing for Passover and making our dishes, all I remember is the time we lived in Indianapolis. Every single Passover, every single Pesach we spent in your home. There were Peter, all the kids there all the time. My parents everybody was invited. It was the most meaningful Passovers I've ever had. And I think Shai was everyone made us a better Jews since then. And the way he was leading Passover, the way he was making everybody feel welcomed, and we're never going to forget this. Rosh Hashanahs, I remember Rosh Hashanahs with Gizi and Zoli coming after the shul. Then we started doing those Rosh Hashanahs in our home. It was very, very meaningful. He made me a better Jew, and I hope we continue this to install this in our kids. And it's a lot of this is thanks to him, thanks to my husband. And we are very sorry that we can't be there with you. This is the heartbreaking part.
Yeah, that's all.
Thank you.
Thank you, dear. I'd like
Peter,
to
can I just one sentence or something?
Oh yes, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry.
By all means.
I really find it very hard to talk. I'm sure you can understand, but I don't want to leave this without telling you how I even love seeing all your faces, both near and very far, and people I haven't seen so long. And it's amazing that I have to be here alone and I can't touch anyone. And this happened. It's so devastating and tragic and so unfair. I don't even have the words, and I can't be eloquent right now because I have to do all these mundane things that I was busy with every minute. So I can't even realize really what happened yet. But seeing everybody's faces, even if it's on my computer, means a lot to me that you came. I see all my immediate family, my friends, old friends. It's unbelievable. I want to thank you all, and also Peter for coming. And one day I'll probably be able to talk more. I just can't talk so well, but I really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, darling. Today is a day not to talk. Today is a day to listen. And
yeah, I understand. Thank you.
Listen to the love. And next, I'd like to call on Deborah Fox, one of Isaiah's oldest friends. I don't mean old. I meant long-standing. That's what I meant. And Deborah, right. Your microphone is on. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can all hear you. The floor is yours.
Well, thank you for the opportunity. And Alana, Daniel, and Adam, my heart just goes out to you. This is just so incredibly devastating. You're right, Peter. I have known Isaiah since we were 10 years old. And Isaiah had come to Gloversville, New York, didn't speak a word of English. And the two of us connected like brother and sister. And we have remained like brother and sister throughout our lives. In Gloversville, we were so close. We were in the high school. We were both the leads in the high school play. So he does have some of that great acting, dramatic ability. And he just tore the house down with his rendition of being the principal of a high school when he was acting. We were confirmed together. And then in 10th grade, Isaiah left Gloversville and I think went to Norfolk, Connecticut. The other thing that I wanted to say is, Daniel and Adam, your grandfather was our cantor, and he had the most magnificent voice. And it was the first time we really were connected to the Holocaust, because your grandfather told us of his experiences, and my brother and I both came home to our parents and said, this was just amazing, his stories. So fast forward, probably about 12 years, I did the news in Pittsburgh. And I get this call right after doing the newscast, and this voice says, Debbie, this is a voice from your past. And I'm thinking, who could this be? And it was Isaiah. And he said, I could not believe that I saw you on the air. And he said, I said to Alana, you know, I grew up with the Debbie Fox, and here she is on the news. So at any rate, that started a whole relationship in Pittsburgh with what I consider my family. And you, Alana, Isaiah, were so inclusive. I was over there all the time, and then just was at the birth of your sons, and I loved them like my children. In fact, I named two of my sons after Adam and Daniel. So I'm just so devastated. We lost somebody that was bigger than life, and such a mensch, and so inclusive and so warm. And I'm just so happy that I had a chance to at least talk about his past in Gloversville, where everybody just loved him. And even though he didn't speak a word of English, he was brought right into our realm and absolutely beloved. And he also, we called him Charlie. I don't know if he was Charlie in the beginning.
Many names.
Yes.
We need to make a list.
Right. But anyway, Alana, Daniel, Adam, you know, you have my heart. And one other thing, I think Adam, when he was 3 years old, called me up after doing the news, and he goes, Debbie, I saw you on Action News. And I'll never forget that. I thought, and then here he is, a huge newscaster, and incredibly well known and respected.
He's following in your footsteps, Debbie.
It's also, Debbie, it's another way that he inspired this carrying on of traditions, because what you said, the way you guys reconnected, happens to me because of this public job, where now in New York, there's so many old friends and old family members who we've lost touch with live. They see you on the news, and people I haven't talked to in 10, 15 years, we've reconnected because of this job. It's wonderful, and absolutely would not have done this, been as excited about being a journalist if we hadn't been so close to you and watching you when you were in Pittsburgh. So thank you.
Thank you, all of you. I, at this time, like to call upon Rabbi Sedro, who is the rabbi for Congregation Shari Tefillah in Carmel, Indiana. And he officiated yesterday at the funeral service. And I'm going to take a page from what you did yesterday night at the service at the Minyan, and I'm going to turn on everyone's microphone and ask you to recite the Kaddish prayer at this time for us, and then if you could also lead us in El Mole Rachamim, that would be very nice. Then I'm going to follow it with some highlights from yesterday's remarks by Ilana and Adam at the Graveside, and then I'm going to open it up for people that just want to chat and gossip. Not gossip, that was the wrong word. I want to chat with each other as long as they do. So at this point, I'm going to unmute all. Please be careful. Don't create a lot of chaos. But we do want to hear you when you respond during the mourner's Kaddish. So everyone should be unmuted at this point. Rabbi, can you hear me?
I can, Peter. Thank you. I'm honored to be part of this holy gathering. And I'm afraid I will be leaving shortly after the prayers for yet another Zoom meeting. But it is my honor to Kaddish and El Mole Rachamim for my friend, for Isaiah.
Can we wait 1 second? Adelia wants to say something about her grandfather and how she wants to say how much she misses her grandfather. Sorry.
Of course. Go ahead.
Say something. She wants to read this book. She's going to die now, but this was the last book that her Zadie read to her and actually sang to her. And it's called The Book of Nursery Rhymes. And did you love the way your Abba sang? Was he saying it to you? Yeah. So she just wanted to share that she always loved how beautiful his voice was and the wonderful memory she had with him just last month. And you want to say anything else about Zadie? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Adelia.
All right, we'll begin with mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah. Ma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei. V'chayechon v'yomechon uv'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael. V'gala v'zman kariv v'yimru amen. Shemei Rabbah Yitzhak, Yishtabach, Yitpa'ar, V'yitramam, V'yitnatzeh, V'yitgadar, V'yitalev, V'yitalal, Shemei D'Kudsha, V'yela, Minkol, V'yirchata, Kushbechata, V'nechamata, V'miran, V'yalma,
Amen.
V'yishlama, Rabbah, Amin Shemaya, V'chayim Aleim,
V'yal Israel, V'yimru. Amen.
Shalom.
Shalom.
Say amen.
Amen. Moli Rachamim is a prayer for Isaiah. תחת כנפי הספינה, במעלות קדושים וטהורים, כזוהר הרקיע, מעשים את שיהו בן זכריה ורחל,
שהלך לעולמו בגן עדן תהא מנוחתו. אנא בעל הרחמים, הסתירהו בסתר כנפיך לעולמים, וצרור בצרור חיים את נשמתו. אדוני הוא נחלתו, וינוח בשלום על משכבו, ונאמר אמן.
Amen. Let us all say amen.
Amen.
At this point, I'm going to thank you, Rabbi. And
Thank
at
you,
this
Peter.
point, I'm going to share the screen. Hopefully, you'll all be able to see and hear. As I said before, the sound quality here is not the best. This was recorded outdoors. Wait a minute. This is the photo montage. Let's go to the other one. Okay. So bear with me on the audio, but I think these are just some highlights. I urge you all to go to the arnmortuary.com website, the mortuary website, to view the entire thing. And here's some highlights.
It's hard for me to believe that Isaiah is no longer with us. He was by my side for 43 years. He was my source of strength every day.
Could everyone hear that?
Especially in times of sadness.
Can everyone see that? No.
Everyone
All right, let me try
knows
again.
him, remembers his big personality. They always say he's like the force of nature.
Let me start it again. I don't know what the problem is, but all right.
It's hard for me to believe that Isaiah is no longer with us. He was by my side for 43 years. He was my source of strength every day, especially in times of sadness. Everyone who knows him remembers his big personality. They always say he's like the force of nature. They remember his booming voice, his warm hugs, his love of life, his passion for knowledge. His strength is something I always remember. I heard in your Pasuk, your verse, that those who are righteous will always stand firm. And it's amazing that somebody of such stature and greatness and righteousness can be taken down by a virus. I find that hard to believe, but the strength was the first thing everybody remembers about Isaiah. The other thing is love. Love just flowed out of him, you could tell. He knew how to express his love for me and for our two boys. It's also said that he left us on Shabbat HaGadol, the Shabbat before Pesach. He always told me that was his favorite Shabbat. It was a Shabbat where the Israelites took great risks to declare their freedom and their intention to be free from Egypt from Pharaoh. And it's a very symbolic act of freedom, and he always loved that Shabbat, and it's sad that that's the Shabbat. Whenever someone needed to know something about something Jewish, they would ask him. He was like a resident rabbi, cantor, scholar, and sometimes we joke that he was really like Isaiah the prophet. So, because I know those things were very important to him, I want to just say two things from Isaiah, verses from Isaiah here. One of them has, from Isaiah 26, sounds almost like he's talking about this awful people. Isaiah 26 says, "Come, my people, enter your chambers and shut your doors behind you. Hide yourself for a little while until the fury has passed by." And so these are the times we're in. And then I still don't believe that Isaiah is not going to be with me when I get home. all the people I love. The last day.
The cruelty of circumstances has to be addressed. This is wrong. People dying alone and family members grieving from a distance. We give them a hug. It's wrong. So the purpose of our tradition is to comfort people who have lost loved ones, and all that's been shattered. And it is traumatic. And we'll address it. We'll do it together with our love that my Abba showed us. But it's also our family that has a history of surviving. We learned a lot from that history that my Abba cared so much about. Teaching the lesson of overcoming adversity, overcoming the trauma. And that's why we're not going to let it stop us from honoring him today.
My goodness. Wow. What grace, what eloquence. Heart-wrenching. At this time, I'm going to unmute everyone's mic. Please try to keep it to a mild roar and not try to talk over one another. And as long as you want, we'll keep as long as we have the internet service, we'll keep the connection. Let me say my farewells. Thank you all for participating. And Rabbi, family members, friends from around the world, I think we've all done a mitzvah here. We've created memories that I think the family and all of us will cherish for a long time to come. So I'm going to unmute now, and thank you all for your participation. Goodbye.
Alana, I have to go to another meeting now, but I will talk to you soon.
Someone is doing a screen share. I think it's Emil. Emil, could I ask you? There you go. Thank you. All right.
Just sending her a message that we'll be in touch. I want to go.
Lana, Adam, Daniel, our love to you all.
Thank you, Judy. Thank you for joining.
Thank you.
אילנה, קבלי את תנחומינו.
תודה מוטי, אהובה. לפחות אני אוהבת אתכם, תודה.
אוהבים אותך מאוד, אילנה.
תודה רבה. זה משהו שאי אפשר לתאר. תודה.
אילנה זה ליאור וג'ניפר, האהבה שלנו איתך.
ליאור.
אוהבים אתכם מאוד מאוד מאוד.
תודה רבה שהשתתפת. תודה.
Ilana.
Shoshana, hi.
I want to say something.
Yes.
Let's say, what we say at Shiva, because we won't be able to see you. Amakom Minachem Besol Shar Avoid Sin Shalom. Great guy, to be missed.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, Ilana. I'll talk to you soon.
Hi, Daniel and Adam. I love you very, very much. I love you, Ilana. Bye.
Thank you, Elena. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Daniel, Alana, my heart is with you all. I love you. Sending my prayers and my wishes.
Ilana, shalom. Adam, Daniel, Eli, kulchem, shalom.
רותי, שלום.
תודה רבה לפטר שארגן את זה. כל כך יפה. אבל מאוד עצוב, מאוד מאוד עצוב. זה החיים, אין מה לעשות.
תודה, ינה. תשמור על עצמך.
תודה גם את. תשמרי על עצמך. כל טוב.
הרבה בריאות. ביי ביי.
ביי ביי.
Peter, thanks for hosting this.
Thank you for saying so. It was my honor.
Thank you, Peter. Remember me, Peter? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for
Lana.
Thank you.
Akio.
Yes.
יוסי, שלום.
שלום, ינה.
יוסי, שלום.
Shalom, Ilana.
שלום,
We love
שושן.
you.
Love you. טוב שבאתם, תודה.
שלום, פיטר.
אילנה, רק תראי את ישראל מלמעלה.
כן.
כמה שקט הרחוב.
מהמרפסת שלך אף אחד לא יוצא מהבית.
כן, וזה בני ברק מאחורה, ששם יש העוצר והכל. הכל שקט, אין אף אחד. כל הרחובות שקטים. אתם רואים? אין אף אחד.
אני רציתי לעשות את הקידוש של פסח, שערב פסח, אבל האיחוד על הווידאו מאוד קשה, ולא חושב שיקבלו אותו טוב. חשבתי הרבי עושה על זה.
Please tell me your name when you start to know who you are.
Ilana, this is Amy.
Oh, Amy, it's so nice to see your face. I haven't seen you for a while, Amy.
No, I wanted to mention, Adam mentioned this yesterday, but Shai's laugh. That's, when I think of him, I think of that belly laugh.
Yeah.
And every memory I have of Shai includes that laugh.
Yeah, you're right. And our second day, he laughed so hard at comedy, Israeli, that they asked me to bring my husband to every one of their shows. But it was our second date. You know? And that's already I knew that this man knows how to laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
Lana, Adam, Daniel, it's Lily.
Lily, okay.
It's been too long. I'm so incredibly sorry for everything, for the circumstances, and that we can't be there in person. But we send you our love.
We feel it. We feel it, Lily. Thank you.
Thank you, Lily.
Hey, good, Dania. Okay. We going now?
Look at him, not you.
Ilana, it's Maya and Avi.
Hi, Maya. Nice to see you. Avi, hello.
Our deep condolences to your family. We're just like everyone else in such shock, and we will miss him dearly. We will, because he was one of a kind, and so knowledgeable that I would love to just sit there and ask him questions so he can, tell me things about history, about anything. He was incredible. And it was because of him that he inspired me to become a speaker through the BJE, because I am also first generation survivors, and we had so much in common, and we will miss him dearly. He was a dear friend, and as I said, one of a kind.
Thank you, Maya. I know he worked with you for many years on the Holocaust Remembrance Committee.
Yes, he
did.
were
very active together.
Yes, thank you. And our condolences to your family, to your sons. And Daniel, oh my goodness, you look exactly like your father. I hope to meet under better circumstances and give you all a hug.
Thank you. Wait, I haven't been able to touch anyone.
I know, and I thought about you. I just can't even fathom what you've been going through. We're so sorry.
I hate to interrupt Maya, that was beautiful. And Ilana, I hate to contradict you, but you have, far from not being able to touch anyone, you have touched everyone.
Yes.
Thank you, Pete.
Touched everyone's hearts.
Absolutely.
No, you cannot take off. This you cannot take off never. Never. I tell you, Elena.
A random conversation from somewhere. If you're not addressing the group, please turn off your microphone. There's a little icon with a microphone on the bottom of your screen.
Adam and Daniel, we love you guys. Be strong. And, incredible memory. Our mitzvahs. And, your dad was happy, loving, made you feel, even as him for many, many years at a time, he made you feel like you saw him yesterday, which was an incredible thing. So memories will always be memories.
Thank you so much, Peter.
Thank you.
Peter, do you get the ability? Oh, thank you. He did it. Okay. Thank you, Peter.
Ilana, Adam, and Daniel, it's Yiftach and Ruti. There are no words for us to say. So we, Tanchumenu, you are in our hearts. And if I have just a very quick second, I want to tell a quick story from Daniel and Sarah's wedding. I remember Daniel tapped me on the shoulder and said, "Hey, it's time for the tish. You gotta go to the tish." And I'd never been to a tish. I'd never been to a tish since. And I didn't know what it was, but Shai, of course, was there. And I'm like, "Shai, we're going to the tish." He's like, "Yeah, we're going to the tish." I was like, "You've been to a tish?" "No." "Are you worried?" "No." And he had this very calming presence about him. And, I remember just sitting there, like, I'm just going to look at Shai and kind of follow his lead. And he was, and that's kind of how I saw him. I saw him as a leader, as somebody, as a calming presence. And that's just kind of how I remember him, So, to share that little.
Thank you. He believed that he could learn and do anything. And that's what he taught the kids to achieve whatever challenge, profession you want to do, you can do it. Just believe. He had a lot of confidence.
Exactly. That's really nice. Thank you.
See you. Love you guys. Hope to see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Well, if that's it, I'm going to wrap things up, Ilana. And gentlemen, thank you. Thank you for your participation. I think it was successful. I think everything went very smoothly. I hope you agree. And that we will need to get together just like this, bring the whole family together for a happy occasion.
Bye.
Perhaps your next milestone birthday or something of that nature. Let's try to get everyone together again like this. And we can all be, instead of being in mourning and filled with grief, our hearts can be light and happy and enjoyable, and it would be a lot of fun. So let's think about those days ahead. Let's think about the days when this whole nightmare will be over, and we can once again reclaim our lives and reclaim the love of our family, which has been in such evidence here today. So thank you to one and all. Things up. There's a video of this. I'm going to take it, download it. I'm going to edit it. I'll put it. I can put it on my website, or I'll put it on my Facebook page, and I'll circulate it as well. So be on the lookout for a link to a video of this if you want to relive this morning. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you for being our host. We really appreciate it. I just want to say I'm not, anyone who needs to go, of course, is fine, but please don't wrap it up yet, Peter. I'd prefer, rather than everyone taking turns, I would love to share a few stories. Whoever's willing to, fine. Informally, I just don't want it to end yet. I have a few other things, just stories, things to talk about, rather than a one-by-one sharing of condolences. So rather than wrap it up, let's
go for it.
Great. That way it's just more informal. And I'll start. So this shirt I'm wearing right now, it might be hard to believe because I weigh 175 pounds. I'm very slender. This is my dad's shirt from the early 80s. And he somehow fit into this at one point. But it's a nearly 40-year-old T-shirt, Indiana basketball T-shirt. Lots of holes in it. My wife makes fun of me. Michal makes fun of me. But I'm wearing it in his honor, and I love this T-shirt. I wear it all the time anyway. It's my lucky T-shirt. So that's one thing I wanted to point out. And then the other thing is, does anyone know, Daniel brought up the Huggy Poo, and my dad had all these funny little sayings, and some of them I know the origins of. I don't know this one. Daniel knows. He always said, "Kielbasa, baby." What does that mean?
Where did that come from?
Peter, maybe you're our new Jewish Google now. Like, does anyone know why he said "Kielbasa, baby"?
It's a combination of Que pasa, or the Spanish, but he went to Poland a lot. Poland, everybody eats kielbasa. That's the Polish salami, kielbasa. It has a lot of garlic. It smells good, and it hangs everywhere. That's Polish kielbasa. He loved that. Loved all salami. So kielbasa, que pasa, that was, kind of a greeting. I don't know exactly, but that's my interpretation.
Got it. That's right. It's a pun on the term que pasa, which is a greeting.
Que pasa.
Good to know.
And another expression was, he also asked you to hand him the kvetcher. I think he invented the word kvetcher. It was the remote control. It comes from kvetch, which is when you press something, you press. The kvetcher was the remote control.
I thought kvetch is to complain.
Right.
Yes, to kvetch, because it's like you're whining. It's like the act of. But when you kvetch something,
no, I don't think. No, Mom, that's not what it was. It was a stecker.
No, the stecker.
That makes sense.
Stecker is out. What you plug, it's a plug. Stecker is a plug, but it's similar.
We used to say kvetcher. Yeah, that was common.
Yeah.
Stecker is a very common word. It's actually means plug, right? You put the stecker, yeah.
Really?
But kvetcher, he may have invented it. I don't know.
The kvetch is to press, so it was the presser, right? Press.
Yeah. So at one point we had 12 remote controls before they figured it out. So I always complained why we had so many kvetch, but that's its word.
I wanted to say something that I always thought was really amazing, was that he was just so interested in so many different things. I mean, he was just an amazing photographer. We have these pictures. I know Lily and Ted shared one earlier with us that was a beautiful photograph. But some of the photographs that we have here that he took are just incredible. And he had a lot of Debbie Fox mentioned that he was an incredible actor, and he was a great singer, and he was a great photographer, and he was just so talented. And I see that sometimes I see those things he did that stay with us that we don't even realize. But one of them, I think, was also his photography, which is one way that we also remember him as well.
Peter, I want to see your wife, Alla, to tell you hello. Can I see?
All right. I will tell her. Thank you. I don't think she's on the chat anymore, but I will tell her that you greeted her. Thank you. Köszönöm nagyon szépen.
All the best.
Bye-bye.
Hello. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye, cousin.
Yeah.
Adam, you have any other stories?
Adam, this is Amy. Adam, I have something to tell you, a story that you wouldn't know.
Yeah?
It's in Pittsburgh. You were about a year old, maybe a little more than that. And we were visiting, and we took all the kids to a merry-go-round. Ilana, do you know where that would have been?
I think it was a playground in Mount Lebanon in Pittsburgh.
Okay. But there was a merry-go-round, I remember, and you stood there with Adam on the horse. It was a full merry-go-round, and it was going around, and Isaiah said something like, "That's my boy," and the shine in his eyes. I just won't forget it.
I know. It's the same thing every time they would call. You would see the nachas on his face. He would drop everything when a phone call came from the boys. There was that sparkle, and then he would just be quiet for a moment. It's like he's breathing in the idea that they're calling him,
Yeah.
Each one of his sons was his favorite son.
Yeah.
Start the conversation by saying, "Oh, it's my favorite son."
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that, Amy. I love that story. It reminds me of how he I said this yesterday at the Graveside service, but I catch him from time to time in the last few years. I would catch him from time to time, just kind of zoning out at our house in New York, at our apartment, watching our daughters play.
Yeah.
He would just have a twinkle in his eye, and his little squinty eyes, and a smirk on his face, and he just wasn't part of the conversation anymore because he was focused on just taking all that in.
Yeah.
I have something to share. Let me see if I can do it. I'm going to hit share screen, and then I'm going to click here. I hope you can see it. This is an email that I received, some photos from Emil in Israel of our chat, of our video Shiva. Anyone see that?
Oh, yes, I can see all the people at one time. That's great. Because otherwise I just see 9 people.
These look like screenshots that Emil made during our video Shiva.
That's nice.
Very nice of him. Thank you, Emil. I don't know if you're still online, but thank you so much. Yeah, very nice. Nice souvenirs. And again, as I said, I'll circulate the video once I have it.
Okay, and send me those screenshots from Emil, or I'll ask him.
He did. It looks like he CC'd you.
Oh, good. Okay, thank you. I see it.
Uh-huh. There you go.
Hi.
Okay, since everyone's a little shy, right? So I'll tell a few more stories. But everyone, feel free to interrupt me if you want to say something. I'd love to hear anyone who wants to share a story.
Did Aura, you want to say something? I'm sorry, I think Aura.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to say that I'll talk to you soon, and I know we'll be in touch.
Yeah, hopefully we'll get to see each other face to face.
Yeah.
You're right, we're in Indianapolis.
Hopefully. Thank you. That was so beautiful. I can't tell you.
I know, it means a lot to me too. It's the best we can do under circumstances, but it's wonderful because even people from all over the world can be.
Right.
So. Right. But Ola and I have the advantage that we live nearby and we together we go to Starbucks. So as soon as this virus leaves us.
It's strong.
Oh, man.
I think it's Dan Abramovich.
Okay. All right. I think it's done.
Oh, hi. Are we on?
Everybody's on.
Your phone.
Watch what you say. Be careful.
One of my daughters is just sending me a text message that we're not muted. I'm never muted.
That's right.
Oh, yeah, you've been muted. I've muted
We've been on the whole time. Nobody will believe that I can't talk. I'm just too sad.
I know.
And we loved Isaiah. This is why I can't talk. It's hard to imagine that he's no longer in this world. And this may be the first Pesach since Michal and Adam are together, even before they were married. This, if anybody doesn't know who in God's name I am Michal's mother. Adam is my son-in-law, and Lana and Isaiah, we share, and Donnie, sorry, okay. And Donnie, we share amazing grandchildren, and I think this may be the first Seder in possibly 12 years, a couple of years before they were married, that we won't be with you at any point, but you will. And because of this horrific nightmare that we're going through, Donnie and I will have a Seder, just the two of us, but you will absolutely, absolutely be with us in our hearts.
Of course, we're thinking about you, and we cannot think about Pesach without Shai. He left such an impact on us. And of course, we always ran the Seder, Pesach.
He ran the show.
He ran the show, absolutely.
Yeah,
And
it was his
again,
favorite holiday. Yeah.
His favorite holiday.
Yeah. Thank you, Danny and Lisa.
Ilana.
Wants to say something.
Ilana.
Go ahead.
Who's this?
Susie. Amon ahava, which means lots of love. And I can't wait to start meeting again at Starbucks with Aura. And I'm so sorry. Love you.
Thank you, Susie, for being here. I miss you all, and one day life will be the same again, I hope. Not quite, but, maybe. Oh,
Sarah, say something?
Hi, Ilana.
Sit down.
I'm Sarah. I'm Daniel's wife.
Hi.
I wanted to say that it broke my heart very much to hear through whatever he went through this whole last week. It was all a shock to me. It hurts me so much. I never see Daniel cry, like never, ever. This is the first time when his heart stopped that I saw him cry. It was and I cry all the time. I cry as much as Daniel. I see Daniel so much in Isaiah. He's so much like Isaiah. So to have him not see him anymore, because every time I saw him when he comes to New York or in Florida, whenever I saw him, I always saw, oh, this is where Daniel gets it from. Like the small things that he does. He's so much like Isaiah. So having him gone is devastating. And the last Shabbat I saw him here in this house, it was the most beautiful Shabbat we ever had in this apartment. We just moved here like a year ago, but we did the Kiddush, and then the whole singing, it was so uplifting, like he was screaming but singing at the same time. And you felt like, oh, this was so beautifully sang with a lot of heart, and his neshama was so strong there. And I could see he was so proud of being together, and how he hugged Daniel and his other kids, that he was so happy to be here. And it's a shame. It was too soon. It was way too soon.
Yeah. Sarah, those are beautiful words.
Sarah and I wish we keep saying over and over again how much we wish we could be there with you, and this is really.
I rethink of the whole weekend, that last whole weekend, the last Sunday he was reading to Odelia for a whole hour. He was reading that book and singing, and none of us are going to be able to do that. I don't know the songs, how to sing, and he was so. They loved it. She was a whole hour for a 3-year-old to be focused like that. She was really intrigued by it.
She's never going to forget how beautiful he sang that book to her.
And then you guys went to eat pizza together, her alone with you guys, and she was so happy, so happy. It was the perfect weekend. But I have really good memories, only good memories.
And you did a beautiful Shabbat. You oversaw and cooked and did the whole Shabbat. So he loved it. When Daniel helped us celebrate what was important to him with the girls, and I thought that it was only the beginning of a long tradition. But that's the only regret I have, that it was not like I thought it would be a lifetime of Shabbat like this. So I'm glad we took pictures,
Thank you, Sarah. If the group wants, or I can just send it privately. I just found I have one video from that Shabbat. Some of maybe Daniel and Sarah have more. I have one later in the Shabbat. We played songs. Daniel and I played guitar, and we sang songs. We have a lot of video that my dad took. But I have one video from the actual Shabbat. It's Shabbat Shalom. It was very short. It was really nice. I might be able to share it on the screen if anyone's interested.
Yeah.
Okay.
It can't hurt. You can find.
Right now? Okay. Give me about a minute and I'll get it up. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Let us know when.
Adam, can you hear me?
We're gonna run out of juice.
Adam,
Yes.
is the video online? If you send me the link, I'll share the screen. We can all watch it easily.
No, the video is not. It's on my phone, and so I'm going to share the screen on my screen.
Use a lot of juice.
But while you're working on
yeah.
And Ilana, my mom sends her regards. Just she doesn't hear, so she couldn't join you. And Charlie as well. But she's with you.
I understand her feelings. I know. And the other thing about that Shabbat, while he's working on the video, every Shabbat, every Kiddush here at our house, he always started after the candles. He always did Baruchuni LeShalom Malachei HaShalom. That was his favorite Shabbat Kiddush song, and he went through all the stanzas, Baruchuni Tzedchem LeShalom, the whole thing. And then after we did that long one, then we did a short Shabbat Shalom, and that's, I think, what Adam is looking for.
Yeah. So I just found it. I'll try it real quick. It's just really short, so bear with me, but it's very short. Okay. Let's see. Share desktop.
We still don't see your screen.
Oh, you don't? Okay, one moment. So we're going to pull it up on the desktop. So I do share.
Are you able to share from I thought only the host was able to share a screen.
Let's try share screen. Allow Zoom.
You should be able to share.
I saw Emil did earlier, right?
Yeah, accidentally.
Yeah.
Zoom, here we go.
Don't see it.
Maybe you can send a short video to Peter and he can.
Yeah, try one more time. Share screen. Here we go.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh,
there we go. Okay.
I'm looking at your email.
Let me make it better. I wish it was longer. I'm going to try to make it bigger for you so you can see a better look. And
a little jerky, but it's...
yeah, it's because I didn't... here, I actually have a better way to do this. I have a much better way to do this. I will make that. And one moment.
That's weird.
Sorry about this, guys. Not very organized right now. Really? Okay. You see my screen?
It's crooked or something. I don't know what that means.
I can't see it.
Okay, let me go back.
By the way, that Shabbat was February 27th, Friday night, February 27th. Last time with the Hunt family was all together.
Yeah. I'm try to get back to. I'm sorry about this. Let me fix it 1 second. When I play this, you don't see it?
Now we heard the view, but we didn't see the video.
Just the video, but could hear it. You can hear it, but couldn't see it.
Now we heard it better.
All right. Sorry. I'll send it out to social media and Facebook, and you'll get to see it that way. Sorry about that.
Thank you,
Daniel, do you feel like singing something?
No, I don't.
No, yeah. Hey, you can go. Why don't you sing something, Peter? You can go ahead and sing
I
something.
have a very good singing voice. I'm sorry.
We could.
Shalom bimroma.
יעשה שלום וכל ישראל ואמרו אמן.
יעשה שלום בimroma. יעשה
שלום עלינו
ועל כל ישראל
ואמרו
אמן.
יעשה שלום, יעשה
שלום
שלום, ועל כל ישראל יעשה שלום, יעשה
שלום
שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל.
Peter, do you know "Let It Be"?
I'd have to go on lyrics.com or something and look up the chord. If you give me a minute, I'll do it. You
Very easy. I could help with that. I wish I had a guitar.
Tell me the chords. You got them there?
I'm pulling him up.
I have the lyrics here. I can my guitar as well.
It's really simple, Peter. If I can play it, you certainly can.
Okay, just give me some chords, the key, and I'll play it.
Yeah, I'm getting them right now.
I'm waiting for you.
You can play it as the C G, C G, C minor.
Which one? A minor?
Yeah. C G A minor F. Try that.
Okay.
G D E C.
All right, let's try it. That's enough. When I find myself in times of trouble.
When
I find myself in times of trouble. Still not good. Somebody else sing it. This is not my key. In fact, I lost my key many years ago.
You're playing it in C. I can sing it. I'll sing it.
You sing it, Daniel, please.
And I found myself in. Are you in C?
trouble, Mother Mary comes to me.
Find myself in times of trouble.
Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom. Let it be. In my hour of darkness, she's standing right in front of me.
C G. Yeah,
I got it.
Yeah.
Let it be. Let it be.
Let it be. Let it be and let it be. Whisper words of wisdom. Let it be. Well, high for me, but I can do it.
I have a meeting ID. Wait a minute.
Very nice. I think your dad would have liked that.
Yeah. Okay, thanks.
Oh.
Folks, I have to move along.
Yeah.
Is there any way I can keep this going without participation?
It's okay. I think you've done a lot.
That was great, Peter. It's okay.
Thank you so much for putting this together, Peter. We really appreciate it.
I think
Hi, Jackie. Thanks for coming, Jackie.
Hold on a second. I think I can change the
Hi.
host.
Thank you.
Hold on. How do I do it? Manage participants. Somebody help me that's familiar with Zoom. How do I change the host?
Okay, you can close this.
Peter, it's okay. We're
Peter,
perfect.
really, it's okay.
Thank you,
Everybody
Peter. Yeah.
had a chance. You were a very generous host.
Thank you.
And thank you so much, because now we're so far away and we want to be closer so we can give a hug to everybody. And this is brings us all close together thanks to you. So we want to say
hungry for a hug. I know we're all hungry for a hug.
Yeah.
Thank you, Peter.
Thank you.
Well, thank you all for participating, every one of you. And
Thank you, Peter.
like I said, let's do this again soon for a happier occasion. Okay?
Thank you very much, everybody. It means a lot to me. Lots of love. Thank you for
Bye, Lana. Bye-bye.
Back at you.
3, 2, 1. Bye, everybody.
Bye, Peter.